Hi, my name is Tony, and today I'm going to show you how to make my favorite rice. It's the kind I grew up eating called Mexican rice, and it is on plantbasedonabudget.com with the recipe down below. You're going to want to use a large pan with a lid and start with 3 tablespoons of a neutral high heat oil. We're going to warm that up in the pan, and it's important to have a lid on your pan because that's what's going to collect the steam to cook the rice. I remember when I was at Michelle Kane, she's my co-host at Plant Powered People podcast. I remember being at her house and she didn't have a large pan with a lid. So we just put a big pot over the pan, and that works too. Make sure your pan is nice and evenly oiled. Then we're gonna add half of a medium diced yellow onion, as well as 3 large garlic cloves minced. I usually press my garlic, but my sister is here helping me, and she very beautifully minced my garlic, which I really appreciate. It smells so good. It's one of my favorite smells, this onion and garlic combination. And you want to make sure that it's not going to burn. Keep an eye on it. We're keeping it at a medium-high heat for this, and if you're not paying attention, it can burn your garlic and your onions. Add in 2 cups of long grain white rice and mix that in with the garlic and onion. You want to make sure that the rice is evenly coated in all of the oil. And this part requires a little bit of patience because we're going to lightly brown the rice. That means let it sit for a minute and then stir. And once it starts to look a golden color, that's when we're going to move on to the next step, adding the vegetable or no chicken broth. As you might know already, I grew up in a culturally mixed home with my grandparents, and my grandpa was full Japanese and my grandma was full Mexican, and we always had certain things. We always had this rice. We also had white rice, and because I grew up on white rice, it took me a long time to have my taste buds adapt to liking brown rice or even quinoa or other types of grains. And speaking of which, you can make this exact recipe with quinoa instead of rice. They cook for the same amount of time, so it's an even swap. If you don't want to use white rice, go ahead and use the quinoa. And if you would like the Instant Pot version, let me know down below. If I have enough interest, I will record that video too. I can see my rice starting to brown, so I'm now going to add in my no chicken broth as usual. I'm using this One Bite Better Than bouillon. You can use a carton, you can use homemade, or you can use cubes, whatever your heart desires. Now I'm adding in 8 ounces of tomato sauce into my pan, along with some black pepper. You can do freshly ground if you have that. And if you're using a vegetable or no chicken broth that doesn't have a lot of salt, I like to add in a little bit more salt so you can taste this broth to see if it suits your fancy, because that's what's going to be the flavor of your rice. So if you taste it now and it doesn't have a strong salty flavor, then you can go ahead and add a little bit more salt. Next, I'm bringing the rice to a boil. You can see it's already starting to bubble. And I'm going to cover it with this lid and let it cook for 20 minutes uninterrupted. Make sure you do not take the lid off. I know it is tempting, but once you let that steam out, it really makes everything a little bit more challenging. So leave the lid on for at least 20 minutes. Once we put this lid on, it's going to go to a low heat for 20 minutes. All right, it has been cooking for 20 minutes, and I am going to take the lid off and do that so it doesn't spill all the water that is the condensation. Now I'm going to fluff it up, and as it continues to air out, it'll look really beautiful and nice and fluffy. Oh, it smells so good, and it looks so good. This looks beautiful. I have eaten this rice way more times than I can count. You can find it in both of my cookbooks, both of the Plant-Based on a Budget cookbooks. And it is really a recipe that I've loved for so long. I hope you love it too. It's really customizable as well. In the Plant-Based on a Budget cookbook, I show you how to put vegetables in it, like peas and carrots. You can also put in some cilantro, and the sky's the limit. You can use homemade tomato sauce made from Roma tomatoes. I do it the easy way. If you try any, please let me know your thoughts. I'd love to hear them. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.